Mass Effect Andromeda is coming and I am just as excited as you. Before it gets here, let's take a little bit of a trip down memory lane. I'm Falcon, and today on gameranx, here's 10 Mass Effect facts. Number 10, Commander Shepard is actually named after Alan Bartlett Shepard Jr., who was the first American to ever travel to outer space. After a naval career that saw action in World War II, Shepard was selected to be one of the original NASA Mercury 7 astronauts in 1959. In May 1961, he made the first manned spaceflight. The flight was part of a project called Project Mercury, and he actually got to name the spaceship, which he called Freedom 7. Now, he entered space, but he did not achieve orbit, but still, that's awesome. I really can't think of somebody better to name Commander Shepard after. Number 9, just before the release of Mass Effect 3, EA decided to do something a little bit out of the box. Actually, I shouldn't even say out of the box, I should say out of the atmosphere. And that might seem like a dad joke, but it's really not. I'm actually talking about what they did. They took several copies of the game and put them into weather balloons. The weather balloons actually made it out into space before coming back down to the Earth. The weather balloons were made available to track, and during the course of what was kind of an alternate reality game, people went crazy attempting to find copies of Mass Effect 3 that had actually been to space. Number 8, a weird unintentional crossover between Mass Effect and Zoolander. The character Derek Zoolander from the titular film has kind of a goofy name. That name is based on a model by the name of Mark Vanderloo. It just so happens that Mark Vanderloo is the person who was modeled to be Commander Shepard in the Mass Effect trilogy. Now, it's really weird when you see this guy with a buzzed cut hairdo and a shaven face. It's literally like looking at a real Commander Shepard. But nowadays he's got hair and a beard and looks nothing like Shepard. But it's crazy, when you look up old pictures of him, it's like seeing the uncanny valley but in real life. It's actually kind of freaky. Number 7, Buzz Aldrin, another real-life astronaut. You know, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. You know, the guy who came after the guy who said that. Anyway, in the very last scene of Mass Effect 3, he played the Stargazer. And although it wasn't exactly the most riveting piece of acting you've ever heard in your life, it was pretty damn good.
Our galaxy has billions of stars.
And it just really brought everything together in such a perfect way. Buzz Aldrin. Whoever thought, let's try to get a hold of Buzz Aldrin for this? It was such a good idea. Seriously. Number 6, there are unused audio files in the first Mass Effect game for an instance where both Kaidan and Ashley survive. And yes, sorry about that if you didn't know one of them dies, but I can't imagine you not knowing that at this point if you clicked a Mass Effect video. Anyway, it's all like basically really complimentary towards Shepard, like, I don't know how you pulled that off. Anyone else and I would have said it was just pure luck and stuff like that. It's actually hilarious because, you know, in the real game, one of them has to die, and Shepard's like, nobody gets left behind, not on my watch. And it's like, not true. Not true, Commander Shepard. Number 5, Bioware was actually working on a first-person shooter set in the Mass Effect universe sometime between the development of Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, possibly during the development of Mass Effect 2. The game was actually meant to be kind of like an Unreal Tournament type game, but possibly more co-op oriented as opposed to competitive, and it's what evolved into the third-person multiplayer mode that was available when Mass Effect 3 came out. Now, it's interesting because if you see video of it, it kind of reminds me of Halo a little bit, but at the same time, in theory, when you hear about it, it would have been kind of like Star Wars Battlefront, but in the Mass Effect universe, and I think that would be pretty sweet. If EA would consider Mass Effect Battlefront, I would say maybe try that out, because I really like Star Wars Battlefront and I really like Mass Effect. There's a ton of crossover audience just waiting to buy that. Number 4, the Citadel Council Chamber map has an eerily familiar look to it if you've already gotten your way through most of the game, at least enough to understand the story. If you zoom out and have a look at the map, it looks just like a Reaper. Now, it's not surprising on account the whole place was built by the Reapers essentially as a big honeypot for sentient life, which not cool on their part, but still, you'd think a race of machines wouldn't have this kind of of vanity. For shame, Reapers. Your pride will be your undoing. Just taking the moral high ground here against the Reapers is all. Number 3, the music in the Afterlife Club in Mass Effect 2 was originally made for an EA football game way back in the year of 2006. When the music was turned in, the musician's team director said it was too techno for football. The composer had no idea it was even in the game until he played through the game and got to the Afterlife Club, which that had to feel pretty cool on account it was the second Mass Effect game, meaning he was probably a fan of the first Mass Effect game. And all of a sudden, his work is in it? I don't know about you, but that would make me feel awesome. Also, it would make me start asking some questions as to where my extra money was for that game. I know his contract probably just gave him a salary or something, but I'd still be like, where's the money? And some of the random Citadel shops have SimCity 4 music playing in them. And even still, there's more unused music from the series that you can get from the composer's website. The guy's name is Sam Hulick, and I gotta say, good composer. Number 2, in Mass Effect 3, 82% of people decided to play it as male Commander Shepard, which is interesting because 100% of the videos I've seen contain female Shepard. Like, almost nobody played and recorded male Shepard, but apparently most people played male Shepard. Now that's a little bit of an exaggeration, obviously. A lot of people did record male Shepard, but it seems like female Shepard is so present, and I would say that it's probably because of Jennifer Hale. She's a phenomenal actress. She also played Rosalind Lutece in the BioShock Infinite game and DLC. Nothing against the guy that plays Shepard, because obviously a lot of people like him, but I just want to say I played female Shepard. FemShep all the way for me. And number 1, the Citadel is actually based on a real proposal for a space settlement by American physicist Gerard K. O'Neill, who originally proposed it in a 1976 book called The High Frontier: Human Colonies in Space. If you look at pictures of what he shows, it is so similar to what the Citadel actually comes out to be, except I'll say I think the Citadel came out looking a little bit cooler. Not a lot, but enough. Still, knowing somebody came up with the idea for what became the Mass Effect Citadel way back in the 70s is pretty cool. And a quick bonus fact for you, Elon Musk, the man behind Tesla Motors and SpaceX, is a big fan of Mass Effect. Although that shouldn't be that big of a shock to you. It certainly wasn't to me anyhow. What's the coolest thing you can remember about Mass Effect? The absolute best thing that sold you on the entire series? Let's talk about that in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now is a great time to do so, and I would suggest you do it because we upload brand new videos every single day of the week. And we thank you very much for watching this one. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.